if you ask me what I think the most pivotal financial point is for most people, especially young people, it's going to be getting to a point where you have £10,000, dollars, euros saved. I think this is a point where everything really starts to change in your life, and if you don't have this money, I'm going to explain why I think you should work on getting it. Now, of course, we're all trying to get more money, but I'm going to explain why this is going to be the point where your life will change. Think about this, hopefully, as some motivation. Also, I just wanted to point out what a brilliant filming location we're in. We've got the little sheep playing in the field, but also when we pan out, we have this lovely view of the countryside. It feels like my car's kind of parked on a cliff right now. It's not, it's an illusion, but it feels like it. It looks like we're just about to fall off the edge. Also, I do have a cold, so bear in mind with the way that I'm speaking. 10,000 is probably the first time, if you've never had this much money before, where a lot of you guys will get the opportunity to choose what you do. When you have £10,000, you're generally not going to be living paycheck to paycheck. And the number may not be 10k for you. For you, it might be 15, 20, 30k. For others, it might be as little as 3 to 5,000. I'm in a point where you've got maybe 2 to 6 months worth of living expenses covered or accounted for. You don't need to necessarily worry about that. And you can now take your eye off of just getting by. When you live in paycheck to paycheck, money is of paramount importance, right? You can't go without working because you need to just cover the bills. When you've got savings that you can put money into, perhaps investing in yourself, in what you want to do, you can then say, hey, I'm going to work 5 days a week instead of 6, or maybe 4, or maybe 3 instead of 5. You can maybe only do this for a couple of months, but think about it. This might be enough time for you to start a business, which is not necessarily going to make you quit your job, but it might substitute 1 extra day of work, 2 extra days of work. Having this extra time and money can allow you to do that. Another big thing that it allows you to do is choose where you spend. A lot of you guys cannot choose what you spend on. And I don't say this as an insult, right? I've been there myself. But when you're broke, or when you live in paycheck to paycheck, or both, you can't choose where your money goes. Most of it is going to be allocated for you before it's even arrived. Rent, costs, all of these things need to be covered, and you don't have any extra. And the extra that you have when you've got no money should go into savings in case any unaccounted bills pop up. When you have £10,000 or more, or whatever it's going to be for you, you now have the choice to spend a little bit more where you want. Now, it's not a case of get 10k and then waste it all or spend it all straight away. No, don't do that. But it means that, hey, if we got 10,000 in savings and we go on to save an extra £1,000, maybe we can have a holiday, right? And people might say it's a waste of time or money, or it's a... Look, I know a lot of you guys are all about just grinding out for money, but I am not. I am about grinding out for money, but I also agree with the quality of life. Having a little holiday just for a week for maybe £200-300 is such a luxury, and it'll give you a lot more motivation. You'll see what you're working towards, and that can be afforded when you've got a little bit of money in savings. Another huge, and probably the biggest thing, is that I think you can sleep a lot easier knowing that if anything happens, you're okay. I'll give you an example. It did take away a lot of my savings, but when my last car broke down and blew up, I had the choice of either fixing it or going out and getting a new car. I had a choice. I didn't have to get the bus or anything like that. You can afford when things go wrong. And of course, you guys may not have a car, but you will probably have some unaccounted bills that will pop up. Maybe a rent rise, maybe, I don't know, a bill from a couple of years ago that you forgot to pay, or it's just coming to light. Maybe something that you just can't even fathom yet. Giving yourself a little bit of extra breathing room through having an extra couple of £1,000 is never going to hurt. I really don't think it is. I think it's going to be helpful. I think it's what a lot of you guys really could do with and really will use well. And again, if you add all of these factors together, you get the choice to decide what you want to do. Obviously, this is not going to be the life-changing sum, but think about this. Now you can take your eye off the ball just a little bit. And I don't mean become lazy. I mean, you don't have to just focus on work. You can now spend a couple of days off doing your business and building that. You can now travel a little bit more and feel the value of what you're working towards. You can invest in things that will help to move you forwards. And it seems, in my experience, that the more money you get, the easier building more money off that comes. If you have only £10, it's very, very difficult to get a decent return on investment. Think about it. Even if you double your money at 100% return, you're only going to have £20. That's nothing, right? Really, it's not. If you get 1,000, doubling it to 2 is quite significant. If you get 10,000, doubling it to 20 is great, and of course go on from that, and you see the level of progression. Doubling your money is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but think about this in terms of investments. I don't necessarily mean stocks or real estate, although these do become more of an option when you have a lot more money. The returns that you can make, like maybe you've always wanted to make a business where you resell stuff, for example. Now you've got a bit of cash to do that. I personally wouldn't recommend, and I'm not a personal finance expert, but I personally wouldn't recommend using all of that 10k. You want to still account for some living costs. But like I say, these are accounted for already, and extra money can be spent on whatever we want. We should still work on saving to 20k, but I think it's the first milestone that a lot of you guys are going to see as a big financial point. Another huge thing about this is it's a big number. Realistically, the difference between having 8,700 and 10 grand is nothing. It's going to buy you a little bit more stuff, but it's not a big difference. Or 9,200, right? But seeing that 10,000 number in a bank account or in a stocks account or maybe even in cash, it's enough to give you a different perspective. It feels like you've actually achieved something. It's one of these monumental milestones that is said to change your life. It might be your first time hitting 5 figures or something like that. And with that being said, it's going to change your perspective. It now means that you feel like you can amount to bigger numbers and go on from that. And again, the quality of life that can be afforded going forwards will just continue to increase. In my experience of asking a lot of people and working with a lot of people as well, the biggest thing that seems to be holding them back in their head from starting a business or investing in a certain way is perhaps a lack of time or a lack of financial resources. Now, obviously, having extra money is going to fulfill the second one for hopefully clear reasons. But even on the first point, right? A lack of time. If we could go back to the point of maybe reducing your hours slightly, even if it's only for a couple of weeks or months, now you've got an extra day or an extra week or an extra, you can take a bit of holiday time, you can reflect on what you want in life, and this is priceless. I know a lot of people, like I say, will tell me that no, it's work, do it till you've got 100k, do it till you've got 1 million. The truth of the matter is this: for a few people who are like robots, working to 100k non-stop is going to work for them. For most humans in the comment section who have never really had much money, they need to feel some benefit to the work that they're putting in. And utilising this to have some time to reflect on life, or to invest in certain things, or to go on holiday, even if it's only for a little while, it's enough perhaps to change the perspective and give them an insight that they wouldn't have otherwise seen. And I know I've used that word insight quite a lot, but people don't necessarily understand. When bills are less of a worry, when it's just something that comes out, when the fear of your car breaking down or your rent going up is less about the worry about not being able to afford it and more about the inconvenience, it gives you a different perspective on life. And I think this is the first stage, and this is why I say 10k is important. It's the first stage where most people really can start to see and actually feel, because this is a big thing. A lot of people act like they have it when they don't, but you'll feel it for the first time. An abundance vision. You will now be able to spend money on a lot more things. You'll be able to worry less about minuscule costs or small costs. Life will become perhaps a lot more comfortable, and you worry less. Then you'll start to see, wait a minute, life can be like this all the time. I don't have to worry about bills ever again if I play my cards right. I can go on holiday once or twice a year, or even a couple times a year, more than that, if I do things correctly. And I know people might say, well, that's pointless. If I hadn't have seen a few of the things that I've seen in the last couple of years, by honestly wasting some money and living a more profligate lifestyle than perhaps I should have, I don't think I'd have had the same mindset towards money that I now do. And I know this is going into my personal story a bit more, and people may like that, they may not. I've been to restaurants in the past couple of years where people are buying bottles of wine for literally thousands of pounds. And even with the online businesses that I've been running and the job that I've got, I was just sat there thinking, wait a minute, that guy's just bought a bottle of wine for like a month's worth of my salary or a month's worth of my online reselling business. And I'm like, something's not right here. And I know that might not sound relevant, but it gives you an insight into that world. And when you're kind of around that energy, or when you can be around that energy, or when you can manifest a bit of that energy for yourself in the sense that you don't have to worry about bills as much, your mindset changes. You're willing to invest more. You see different things. You see different opportunities. You meet different people. And 10k is not a huge milestone overall. In the context of the world where people have got millions, billions, and trillions potentially, depending on how you quantify it, 10,000 is nothing. But if you're broke watching this, as I know a lot of people are, no shame in that at all. 10k is an awful lot. It's a real lot of money. And you working on getting to that point will change your perspective. It will likely change your life. I would personally work on this as a huge goal. If I didn't have any financial aims, I would say 10k as a start point. It's not going to change your life entirely. You're not going to become a millionaire from just 10,000, obviously. But at the same time, it's going to afford you some freedoms that will probably allow you, especially if you're a young person who's always been broke, you'll be able to see life in a very different way, I think. And as I said, the benefits of that are, I think, priceless. It's a kind of knowledge, it's a kind of experiences that last a lifetime. Money can't even quantify. A specific number spent on a holiday or going to a certain place or hanging out with friends and whatever and seeing what life can be like, or investing in a business. Even if it's all money spent and you get no return, the actual financial cost or value of that is not really a quantifiable measure of the experience that you will gain. £10,000 for people who do not have an idea of where they want to go, if they want to build a business but they don't feel a confidence, if they are scared of big bills all the time, I would say 10k. You get to 10k, you get past 10k and things start to change. You go for higher than that, 50, 100, obviously now you're a lot easier off. And $1 million, well, you're starting to actually build some real wealth there. This is just my experience. It's not necessarily meant for a lot of older people. I know a lot of older people are going to watch this. Maybe for you guys it is still good advice. But I know also a lot of my audience is younger people. And the only reason why I say it's not necessarily directed to older people is because I don't want to be like patronizing in a way. A lot of you older guys probably already know this now. But for a lot of my younger audience, 18, my age even, maybe even slightly older, they don't know where to allocate their time or their spend or their expenditure of energy and money. Cut costs where you can, get 10k, and we'll reassess from there, if you get what I mean. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.